What makes teams great? Now, when I'm talking about teams, obviously they're sports teams, but I'm thinking more of like a work group, or maybe a working group at school. What makes them function really well? Actually, Charles Duhigg took a lot of time to really debate on a book called Smarter, Faster, Better, which I recommend all of you read. I'll put it in the comments. And he just wanted to know like what makes one group like okay and good and great, and what makes them bad. He took the time to ask the question and really dig into it. And it really kind of inspired me to like share it with you guys, because I think a lot of us don't really know what makes a good team or a bad team. And I think some of the information will carry over to sports, but I really think he really went into the work realm. He happened to find some great research in Silicon Valley when all the startups were beginning with the dot-com boom stuff. And he really like studied like, well, this company blew up and made it great. This company did not. What were some factors that went into that? And, if you really had to narrow it down and bring it down to one thing, it's trust. I mean, for a while they thought it was IQ. They thought it was, like, do these people hang out? Do they like each other? Do they dislike each other? Like, they were just going through the list, and it's like, what would work in this group wouldn't work for this group, but worked great for this group, didn't work in another group. And this team was super productive with these factors, and this team was unproductive with these factors. So they're like, well, we can't find the one thing. But the one thing is trust. Now, I hate to describe something by saying what it's not, but I think let's say there's a group of 10 people, one's a leader and 9 people who are either his boss or whatever the case. And they know that if you disagree with the boss and tell him that's a bad idea, you tell him, no, that's not going to work, and you know that you might get fired or get pushed down to kicked out the group, or you might get a sorry job or extra stuff that nobody else wants. Is anybody ever going to disagree with the boss? Like, what's the point in having 10 people in a room working together when the only person's opinion that matters is the boss? You basically have one person and 9 cheerleaders, and that really doesn't get you anywhere. Great teams trust that, hey, I can disagree with my boss. And you know what? He's not going to get mad at me. He's not going to fire me. He's not going to get me the crappy job that nobody else wants. He's going to sit there and he's going to listen. He's going to humble himself and say, hey, you know what? Maybe that's what we need right there. Okay, let's. And you know what? Maybe your idea fails. But even when it does, your team works well with you and says, hey, I see what you were going for. It doesn't quite work out. This is what we're going to do. This is where we went wrong. Here's what we can learn. That's what great, amazing teams do. They trust each other. They're willing to fail. They're not worried about backlash. And that's what makes a team function incredibly well. And so for those of you in the work world, I really want you guys to like genuinely reflect, like, can I share my opinions and thoughts in my groups without backlash? And then that'll let you know if your team can function at a super high level or just barely surviving. Obviously, I want all of you to work on a good team. So hopefully you guys can work towards it and make that happen. You can accomplish anything you want as long as you're willing to sacrifice and put in the work. I believe in you. Go get them.